I just want you to know, we'll talk about this later, but I want you to know the discrediting of the Nazarene Fund and probably me and this program is coming because we are not making friends with the State Department. We got a tip today from a news organization that had somebody inside of a government organization, and they said that there was a meeting today about us, and the warning was they're coming. And I know that, and that's fine. And what we're doing here is, we believe, God's work, and so be it. If this is the end of our career, my career, it's fine. I am totally fine with that. I just want you to know that awful things are going to be said in the future. I hope not. I hope not. But they're not going to let us sit here and do what we've done without ramifications. Lara Logan is with us now. Hello, Lara. How are you?
Hey, Glenn, I'm very glad to be here, and I will tell you, I don't care what they say. I will stand by you and the Nazarene Fund, because the only people right now who are more evil than Al-Qaeda and the Taliban are the State Department and the agency and all the others who are doing everything possible in their power to prevent decent Americans and good people standing up for our allies and rescuing people and saving them from certain death. And I've been up all night working this for 8 days, and it is reprehensible.
So, Laura, people don't understand how can the State Department do this? What are they doing exactly? What is the White House? How are they thwarting? Can you share some examples?
Oh, yeah, easily. So, because I've been doing this all night. So, well, for example, I had 150 people, families, that I ripped out of their homes with children and everything else, all of whom are targeted for death because they worked with 60 Minutes or they were legendary, in the military and fought the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. And as the plane was coming into land, my American Special Operations contact had told me that they had been denied clearance. So suddenly, out of nowhere, when they had clearance before, they denied clearance. The pilots, and I will tell you, there's so many operators on the ground who are just outraged at what they're being asked to participate in and be part of, this betrayal. And so the team running the operation said, no, we're not going to do it. We're landing anyway. And they went to look without a landing strip and without lights for a place to land, and they were coming in, and they were threatened that they would be shot down. So they had to, circle, and then they were running out of fuel, and they've gone back to another country, and they're trying to get the clearances again to come back in, and being blocked by the State Department. Yesterday, The State Department changed again the evacuation paperwork. They changed the paperwork. You're in the last few moments. I'm going to tell you now, Glenn, I heard all through yesterday and through last night that by nightfall today in Kabul, which is not far away, they would be gone. We have reports of the 82nd Airborne, evicting Christians and American citizens and others from the airports and bulldozing checkpoints. We have reports of gates being welded shut, which of course I can't confirm from a distance, but there's been multiple reports.
I will tell you, we have those same reports, Laura, so there's a second source. We have the same reports.
And I got to tell you that, I have literally got photographs of, a pregnant woman, wife of a DEA agent with a child at the checkpoint, battered and beaten and bloody, who's fought her way to get there. We've got special operations guys and Marines who are out there rescuing people, risking their lives, only to get to the airport and be denied access by the U.S. government, whether they instruct the Marines or the 82nd on the gates to shut them down, whether they shut down the Marines. Right now, one of my contacts that I've been working with for days said that he's had, dozens and dozens of messages to the Marines have now gone unanswered. They've stopped talking to him. Everybody's scrubbing their packages, and they're on their way out. And, now there's reports of a suicide bomber and gunfire, which families that I'm in touch with on the ground witnessed. I was talking them through it and trying to keep them calm. But I tell you what makes me so angry. They're going to say that they had to shut everything down early because of the threat level. And it is absolute nonsense. They were doing this and shutting it down long before that even happened. And even more reprehensible and dishonest, this is how disgusting these people are. They are now trying to say that Siraj Haqqani, the deputy leader of the Taliban, right, whose brother, Anas Haqqani, was sitting next to Zalmay Khalilzad, the U.S. presidential envoy at the talks in Doha, that they have separated from the Taliban and they've gone with ISIS-K. You know why they're saying that, Glenn? You know why they're making up that absolute lie? Because they know they've been called out. And I was one of the people that called them out. So was Tom Jocelyn at the Long War Journal and a bunch of others. Because the Haqqani Network is a foreign terrorist organization designated by the U.S. government in 2012. And it is illegal under U.S. law to negotiate or support terrorists, to provide any kind of support for them in any way whatsoever. And now that it's been called out, look, lo and behold, how convenient that suddenly the deputy leader of the Taliban has split away. I don't believe it for one single second. In fact, I'll put my life on it that is an abject lie. Even if they say it themselves, that's a deal that they struck. When the head of the CIA went and met with Mullah Baradar, the man that they chose to lead the Islamic Emirates, and by the way, guess who they chose as their intel chief? The guy who's going to be in charge of intelligence for the Taliban is his strongest ally is who? The IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards. He ran training camps for the Taliban inside Iran, and he and the new head of IRGC are bonded at the hip. And one of the chief political advisors of the Taliban in Kabul right now, advising Mullah Baradar, is the other person in the Taliban who is close to IRGC. They're two top Iranian contacts. And you watch out, Israel and Taiwan and all of these countries all over the world, because right now, America's enemies are coming for us. And all these people are going about their daily life in America, and they want to talk about this, and they want to talk about that, and they just want to pretend that Afghanistan is not happening. You wait, because we are now isolated on the world stage. We are defined by betrayal and drenched in the blood of Afghans and American citizens. And I've got soldiers, special operations soldiers, veterans, some of them 10, 15, 20 tours, vomiting last night, vomiting when they realized what they were being asked to participate in. Because this betrayal is an historic shame that will define the United States until the end of time, for as long as we still have, because it is part of a greater assault on this country that will ensure the end of America, the end of the American idea, and act as a warning to anyone all over the world. Don't believe in it, don't fight for it, don't stand by it, because they don't even believe in their own idea. Look at them.
Laura, I can't, first of all, everything you say is true. I mean, I believe every word that you just said is accurate. What people don't understand, and it was shocking to me how many times in the last 24 hours since being here, I have heard former allies say, "We're done. Yep. To have Parliament yesterday discuss the fact that they will not come to our aid or perform any operations jointly with us until this president and vice president are out. I've never in my lifetime heard anything like that from England or any of them. France is still currently out there saving people. Britain is staying behind after we leave tonight. We're going to leave. Why are we leaving before the 31st when our allies are still on the ground?
Glenn, I've got even bigger questions for you. Why are we accepting that this is set in stone? Why are we accepting the most humiliating defeat at the hands of a terrorist organization aided and abetted by our allies. Did you see what the Pakistani president, Imran Khan, said? He literally said that the Taliban had been freed. The people of Afghanistan had been freed from the chains of slavery. That's how he referred to the U.S. Do you know that since 1951, 70 years straight, the United States has been funding Pakistan? Literally billions and billions and billions of dollars. Why are we sending taxpayer dollars to Pakistan to finance the Taliban and Haqqani and Al-Qaeda to kill American soldiers on that battlefield? Why are we not acknowledging our Afghan allies, the former Vice President, Amrullah Saleh, who is now acting president, who is fighting right now? Why are we pushing the Taliban's propaganda narrative that all the Afghans surrendered and that the Afghan army and the special operations, they're worthless? All that money spent and all those years, and look at them, they're so useless. How many times have you read that or heard that? And it is an abject lie. Yes, there were soldiers that gave up, but there were many units that kept fighting. And not only that, who would say to their ally, why would you do this? Why would you take a highly specialized special operations force trained by the best operators we have that relies on mobility and in one moment strip it of all of its mobility, the U.S. air support, and at the same moment take all of the maintenance contractors that have kept the Afghan Air Force in the skies and strip those away? And then at exactly the same moment, take away all of your auxiliary support that goes with that, your soldiers, your bases, your logistics, your supply lines. Why would you do that? And show me the army on earth that could possibly have all that stripped away from it in one moment. And I'm not saying they didn't have warning and they didn't know. That's not the same thing as having a replacement structure already there that's functioning and working. And also what people shouldn't be deceived by and shouldn't fall for is that anyone who's saying what I'm saying right now isn't saying that we have to stay in Afghanistan forever or that the U.S. can't withdraw. We could still leave a special operations counterterrorism component. We could still be doing air support. We could obliterate the Taliban, literally obliterate the Taliban leadership. Their forces are all out in the open. You know why? Because they're literally standing there laughing at you, dancing on America's grave. That's what they're doing. They don't fear you. And you know what? When the Taliban doesn't fear you, and Al-Qaeda doesn't fear you, and Hezbollah doesn't fear you, and Hamas doesn't fear you, the Iranians don't fear you, and neither do any of our other adversaries. Neither does Pakistan, neither does China, none of them. So you watch. Americans have, they have had this false sense of security. They've gone off in the world knowing this invisible shield that we've had around us, that we're all protected by the power and the moral authority of this nation, because the idea of freedom is the idea for which we are all prepared to fight and live and die for, right? That's the idea, because we believe that this is a noble idea and it's worth fighting for. As Amrullah Saleh, the acting president, said to me in an interview just before all of this happened, he actually said to me, called me one day and he was worried because we're friends and I've known him for many years. And he said, Lara, what is happening there? He said, if the light goes out in America, it goes out everywhere. Then the whole world is plunged into darkness. It cannot go out in America. And that is what we're looking at, Glenn. The light has gone out in America. It's not gone out in our hearts and souls as Americans, and as people who believe in this. But if we don't stop what's happening now, then we are dying with it.